So when we spoke at WonderCon, you mentioned that you probably wouldn't have done this film with a first-time director, but meeting Scott and knowing that he understands this genre sort of puts you at ease. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, and nothing against first-time directors.
Yeah.
I've worked with a bunch of them. It's just that this particular subject matter, I think this kind of movie works best when it's treated by someone who really understands it and has some experience. And looking at Scott's previous work, The Exorcism of Emily Rose and Sinister, and just his understanding of this subject matter is really extensive, and he was a great resource. So I just felt like I was in really good hands.
Yeah, you can tell watching the movie that he knew this genre. And then also mixing it with sort of the cop procedural genre that Jerry Bruckheimer is.
Yeah, and that's what he does well. You know, it's like you're following great characters in an interesting story, and the story happens to be scary.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's why I was interested in this.
I know that Ralph Sarchie, the guy whose life that you play in the film, I know that he was actually a consultant on the set.
Yeah.
So how did sort of talking to him and working with him really help you and inform your character?
It was very helpful for me just in terms of kind of energy. There's a particular energy that Ralph has. It's pretty intense and heavy, and we got along extremely well. We spent some time in pre-production. He was on set every day, which was great. I mean, we just got along, and we both ride motorcycles, and to be honest, most of the time that's what we would talk about. I didn't kind of drill him for information. I just kind of enjoyed his company. And because it can potentially be an awkward thing when you're meeting the real person.
Right.
I just wanted him to be himself, and he was very respectful of my process, so it was great.
When Ralph meets Mendoza in the film, I mean, he's very skeptical about this world he's being introduced into. Could you talk a little bit about their relationship?
Yeah, it's a really important dynamic, and Edgar and I have some great scenes, some great dialogue, and it's Edgar's job, through his character to gently coax Ralph and make him aware that there's this other world and there's other things to consider in order to help him with his police work. So Ralph kind of gets blocked in his procedural work by these things that are happening. He's forced to consider this alternative, and Edgar does a superb job.
He's fantastic in this. I mean, he blows it away. Your character is torn between this world of being a cop and now this sort of exorcism world that's kind of coming in, but he's really also torn between his job and his family. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, we try to portray that side of his life just very honestly and very real. He's married, he loves his wife, he has a young daughter, and it's not until the evil enters his home that he really starts to take it seriously, and then suddenly there's a very real threat to him, and that was really good. And Olivia was fantastic to work with, and had a lot of really good ideas about how we should approach that and how it should be really believable. And
do you feel like that sort of grounded the character?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and I think it really helps the film, and it was important to both of us that relationship was authentic and not just a wife who's complaining about her husband not being around. It was more that she'd be supportive and loving, and that you got that real sense of that.
You reunite with producer Jerry Bruckheimer after Black Hawk Down. What was it like working with him again?
It was fantastic. It's been a long time. We spoke about projects over the years that it just didn't quite happen, but this is our first time together since then. So it was fantastic, and get to spend some time with Jerry, and he's one of the geniuses of the business. So I was really honoured to get a chance to work with him again.
When you're choosing projects, I mean, what are you looking for? What's some of the criteria? I mean, is it all about the story and the script, or who the director might be, the cast members?
It's a combination, but at the end of the day, I never have any say in it. I really don't. I read something and I just have an instant reaction. I have to do this. And until I get that reaction, I just stay home, So, so I just just keep reading.
Just relax until you find
exactly,
the right thing.
And it's always really obvious when it happens, So it's worth just keep on reading, because eventually something just jumps out and grabs you, and this was one of those. Face Off, that was a good film, actually. I enjoyed that.
Face Off was a great film.
Yeah.
It was great the way that both those guys were able to really be the other guy.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. Well, it's a really fun movie. I really enjoyed it. You're great in it. So
thanks
great
very
talking
much.
to you, man.
Cheers.
Always a pleasure.